You know that paralyzing feeling, when a careless word or a rude action instantly derails your entire day. That feeling of heat rising, the mental rehearsal of a comeback, the emotional baggage you carry for hours. But what if I told you that the initial spark of anger only lasts 90 seconds? And the only reason it lasts longer is because you choose to keep feeding it. This is the truth of emotional mastery. Anger is a choice. Neurologically, the stress hormones that flood your body during a trigger naturally dissipate in exactly a minute and a half. We are the ones who keep the rage alive by replaying the offense, rehearsing our arguments, and turning a passing event into a permanent story. It's like a smoke alarm going off when you burn toast, but instead of opening a window, you decide to make more toast. Next time someone is inconsiderate, notice the physical reaction, the surge of chemicals. That's the 90 seconds. But then the narrative starts, and 20 minutes later, you're still angry. When you understand this fundamental 90-second rule, you realize you have a definitive choice point. You can let the chemicals flush, or you can pick up the match and feed the fire. How often do you hear or say yourself, "They really know how to push my buttons"? We say it like we are helpless, like we are a remote control being operated by someone else. But here is the truth. Nobody can push buttons. You don't give them. The button pusher myth is the belief that other people possess a magical power over your emotional state. But buttons only work when they are wired to something. Those buttons are not universal. They are at-edge, unhealed wounds, past traumas, or deep values that were violated in your history. When someone pushes a button, they are simply illuminating an area in your life that still requires healing. The sarcastic co-worker who always sets you off. Instead of the automatic fiery reaction, pause and ask yourself, what does this really remind me of? Perhaps it mirrors the critical tone of a parent or a bully from your past. Suddenly, the co-worker isn't pushing your buttons, they are revealing them. When you stop being a remote control, you step into your power as the operator of your own emotional state. Nobody gets to decide how you feel except for you. Here is a psychological revelation that will change how you view your reactions. What you call anger isn't actually anger. Anger is the emotional equivalent of a security guard. It's a fierce, strong emotion that shows up to protect feelings that feel more vulnerable, specifically hurt, fear, or shame. When your partner forgets something important and you explode in rage, you're not truly angry. You are hurt. You are asking, do I not matter to you? Not matter to you. Anger feels safer and more powerful than vulnerability, so it volunteers to be the spokesperson. When someone criticizes you and you lash out, you are not angry. You are feeling the shame of not being seen or valued. Anger is a way to create distance. Vulnerability is a way to create healing. Saying, I felt forgotten and hurt by that, gets a profoundly different and more productive response than screaming, you never remember anything. When you learn to identify the tender emotion hiding underneath the angry mask, you can address the real issue. Vulnerability heals. Anger only creates more distance. Between every trigger and your automatic response, there exists a tiny sliver of time, a space. In that space lies your supreme freedom. Most people live their lives without even knowing this space exists. The psychiatrist Viktor Frankl discovered this truth while imprisoned in a Nazi concentration camp. No matter what happens to you, you always have the freedom to choose your response. The trigger hits, the 90-second chemical storm begins, but before you react, there is a microsecond of choice. Say, of choice. This is your choice point. When you learn to find and expand this microsecond, you become the author of your own experience. You receive a passive-aggressive email. Your impulse is to fire back. Stop. In that moment before you hit send, ask yourself one question. What response would I be truly proud of tomorrow? That question activates your choice point. It is your emotional superpower. It is the difference between being a pinball, bouncing frantically off circumstances, and being the player, controlling the game. The person who never gets rattled has simply mastered this space. What if you could watch your emotions like weather patterns instead of being swept away and drowned by every inner storm? Inside you is a presence and observer self, a part that can watch your emotions without becoming them. You can notice, irritation is rising, heart rate is increasing. But you do not become the irritation. You observe it. This observer self is always calm, always present. It's the part of you that can think, I am having the thought that this person is being disrespectful, instead of simply believing, this person is being disrespectful. Your teenager rolls their eyes. Instead of immediately getting defensive, activate your observer self. I notice defensiveness rising in my chest now. You are watching the emotion, not being hijacked by it. From this space of distance, you can choose a response that actually helps the situation, rather than escalating it. The observer self gives you emotional immunity. You can experience any emotion, from intense joy to deep sorrow, without being controlled by it. Think of a time you stayed calm in chaos. You were using your observer self. So, now you can use it intentionally. What if difficult people aren't random obstacles in your path, but personal trainers for your emotional fitness? This perspective shift is profound. It changes how you view every challenging interaction. Every difficult person in your life is showing you exactly where you need to grow. That critical boss, they are training your resilience muscle. That draining, complaining friend, they are developing your boundary setting skills. Just like a physical trainer puts you through uncomfortable exercises to build physical strength, emotional trainers build your emotional strength. Oh, Sarah, your micromanaging manager sends their 15th email today. Instead of the default thought, they don't trust me, this is personal persecution. Try a reframe. They are helping me practice staying calm under relentless pressure. You stop being a victim and instantly become student. You can even respond with curiosity. What specifically would you need to see to feel completely confident about this project? Every tough interaction is an opportunity to level up emotionally. Examine your most challenging relationships. What specific strength is that person compelling you to develop? Boundaries are often misunderstood as walls to keep people out. But healthy boundaries are actually gates, with you as the gatekeeper. They are how you protect your personal peace without building a fortress. Think of boundaries like the skin on your body. They let the good things in, nourishment, positive connection, and keep the harmful, toxic things out. Drama, unreasonable, demands. Dinger. Sir. To establish them, you simply need to be clear and assertive about what you will and will not accept. A friend is constantly complaining, but refuses to take action. Instead of getting frustrated, set a gate. I care about you, but I can only listen to this problem for 5 minutes unless you are ready to brainstorm solutions right now. You are protecting your emotional energy while still offering support. Boundaries are the greatest tool to preserve your capacity to actually help people instead of burning out from their drama. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Identify someone who drains your energy. What single boundary would protect your peace with them? There is a vital difference between a strategic retreat and running away. One makes you stronger, the other leaves you weaker. The strategic retreat is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. Sometimes, the smartest thing you can do is temporarily remove yourself from a triggering situation. This is not weakness, it is profound wisdom. You are giving your nervous system time to reset and allowing your calm, rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, to come back online. Instead of snapping, say, this conversation is important, but I need to take a quick break so I can respond thoughtfully instead of reactively. Let's talk in 10 minutes. You are not abandoning the situation. You are approaching it more skillfully. Your spouse brings up a sensitive topic right when you're overwhelmed from work. Instead of a defensive snap, say, I love you. And this topic is important, but I'm not in the right headspace right now. Can we talk about this after dinner? Timeouts prevent emotional damage that can take weeks to repair. 5 minutes of respectful space can save hours of cleanup conversations. The mature approach is to ask for the break instead of just taking it. You wouldn't walk through a minefield blindfolded, so why navigate your relationships and emotional life without knowing your own internal landmines? This is about mapping your emotional triggers. Your triggers are not random events. They follow predictable patterns. These patterns include people who remind you of a critical authority figure, situations that echo past rejections, or words that hit old wounds. When you map these patterns, you are never surprised by your reaction. Again, knowledge is power. This person's patronizing tone reminds me of my first boss, who never trusted my judgment. No wonder I feel defensive. When you see the landmine, you can step around it instead of stepping on it. Keep a simple trigger journal for 1 week. When you get triggered, note who, what specifically they did, and what it reminded you of. You will start seeing your patterns. I always get triggered by impatience, or sarcasm always sets me off. Preparation transforms reaction into a conscious response. Everyone has emotional triggers. Understanding yours is emotional intelligence in action. You can care deeply about someone without carrying their emotions. You can love someone without living in their drama. This is the balance of compassionate distance. Compassionate distance is the act of maintaining a healthy emotional boundary while keeping your heart open. You can witness someone's pain without absorbing it into your own system. It's like being a lifeguard. You throw them a life preserver to keep them afloat, but you don't jump into the ocean and drown with them. Your friend is going through a bitter divorce and calls you daily to vent. So, instead of absorbing their anger and exhaustion, you maintain distance. I want to support you, so let's set aside time twice a week to talk through the tough stuff. And for the other days, let's focus on positive activities to give your mind a break. You are being supportive without being consumed. Compassionate distance preserves your ability to actually be helpful in the long term. Burned out helpers help no one. How could you care without carrying? You are not experiencing reality. You are experiencing the story you tell yourself about reality. And if you change the story, you instantly change your emotional experience. This is how you become the editor of your inner narrative. Every time someone triggers you, your mind instantly creates a narrative. They don't respect me. They are trying to control me. This is unfair. But these are interpretations, not facts. What if their sharp tone simply means they are stressed and rushing, not that they dislike you? The story you choose determines your emotional reaction. Your boss gives you feedback in a curt, one-line email. Story 1, they hate my work. Result, anxiety. Story 2, they are busy, trying to help. Result, curiosity. Same email. Completely different emotional reality. When you become conscious of the stories your mind generates, you stop being a victim of your own interpretations. Now, the conclusion. Knowledge without practice is just entertainment.
East ways to achievement.
Transformation happens through consistent practice, not overnight perfection. You now have the full roadmap. For the next week, pick one technique, maybe the observer self, and use it every time you feel a trigger. Every time say, I notice a thought emotion arising. That's it. The person who never gets bothered by anyone isn't born different. They have simply practiced these skills until they became an automatic way of life. That person is waiting for you. Now, go, become them.